Do you know that the children who rush to wash a windscreen at traffic stops are usually victims of human trafficking who are brought to town from various distant villages to work and pay the traffickers? Look around you. Instances of child labor abound. I'm sure you may have a househelp who is below the stipulated age. Is it legal? Is it even safe? You are watching NAPTIP on the Move, and I am Emanuela Okeke. Thank you for joining us. On this episode, we will discuss child labor, how it differs from child work, and why it is absolutely important for parents to live up to expectations. Don't go away.
The birth of any child is heralded with much joy, as they are seen as a gift from God. Parents anticipate and welcome newborn babies, celebrating with friends and family. But for some children, the warmth and closeness soon disappears as they are thrown into the world of adults, taking on jobs that can stunt their growth and expose them to much danger. Statistics from the International Labour Organization reveals that about 218 million children between 5 and 17 years of age are in employment worldwide. Among them, 152 million are victims of child labor. Almost half of them, a total of 73 million, work in hazardous child labor. Africa records half of that indices, with 72.1 million children involved in child labor. In terms of prevalence, 1 in 5 children in Africa are currently involved in child labor.
Issue of child labor, which is purely a human trafficking issue, is very much staring us on our faces here in Nigeria. People always release their own child for others to go and train for them, believing that that person will, do whatever they can to train their child the way they are trained. It's not always the case. By the time such children got into those homes, on the day one, they observe that they are second-class in that home because they don't get the treatment other children of the people that have the home are being treated. They don't get it. What we are observed in the course of the cases that we have received is that children are taken from villages, because of our African setting, whereby children are also imbibed into the work of the family, because children follow their fathers or parents to farm, they follow them to market, they follow them to all kinds of places that their parents go to. We say that is still allowed because we regard it as child work. But then the criminals have taken over. They will now take these children from their family, bring them to the city center, send them on, to go and be hawking on the street, doing work from morning till night without rest. So that's why we regard this issue as, slavery-like, situation, where you treat children as if they are slaves or servants, and you deal with them in such a way as if they are, of no consequence. So the law has come into being. The traffic law has come into being to fight that. NAPTIP is mandated to do it. Once we receive a report from any part of the country that any particular child is being subjected to child labor, we respond quickly. We come and rescue that child from the house, from the environment, from whatever it is and we arrest whoever is victimizing that child or whoever is subjecting that child to such kind of, situation. And we go ahead to prosecute where we have adequate evidence to do so. So child labor is an offense, and we advise Nigerians to please keep away from child labor.
There is a difference between child work and child labor.
Child work is where children are supposed to work, do some light work for their family members. That the law does not frown out, because as a child, you're supposed to grow well, be treated well, and they go to school and be able to, be a good citizen of Nigeria. Because at that tender age, they are supposed to be properly groomed, to become how to be an obedient citizens of the country. So child work is allowed, but child labor is criminal. What do you call child labor? A person who has a child, in his or her home, or as a couple, you have it in your home, within your family, and such child are not given their, fundamental human rights, because children are entitled to their own fundamental human rights, as enshrined in the Child Rights Act. A child is entitled to be properly fed. A child is entitled to go to school. A child is entitled to play. A child is entitled to do all those things that other children do, all those social activities, take them on outing, But if you now have a child at home, and by child I mean such children below, 18 years of age, those are the people that are defined under the Child Rights Act and under native law as children. So when you now subject those children to a kind of humiliation, a kind of torture, a kind of hazard, then you are violating their rights. So you'll be termed to be committing an offense that is related to child labor. And where those children are given certain work that is above their physical and mental capacity.
The International Labour Organization Convention determines the scope of child labor.
The ILO Convention specifies that a child below 18 years should not be able to work, except under serious protection, because they graded it. They have some grading on how the age that a child can work, particularly in different kind of environment, and when the child is subjected to work on the street or to work in industries, that one is considered as hazardous work, and you are not supposed to put any child into a hazardous situation or condition. So ILO has been the kind of agency that gives a template or guidelines on what kind of work children has to do. When we started the agency, we have course to really rescue children from some quarries and plantation. While they are there, they are subjected to different kind of abuses. Any child of school age must be in school. That's what we tell Nigerians. A parent who is supposed to maintain your child, send your child to school and fend for that child, you now turn that child to be the breadwinner of your family. You sit back at home and the child is busy hawking on the street from morning till night? No, it's not allowed.
Child labor offences have stipulated penalties.
The penalties for offenders of child labor, it is 5 years imprisonment minimum. The law also adds that if a child is found in your home, you are using that child, for such illegal activities, and that child is being subjected to child labor and such dehumanizing the condition. And in addition, that child was also physically injured, you'll be subjected to 2 more years imprisonment, meaning 7 years imprisonment for violating the rights of a child.
Advising parents on the need to care for their children, the Director, Legal, Abdurrahim Okpotu Shaibu, shares an experience.
A woman based in Oyo State, who went and collected 6 children from a family. This family, they are farmers basically. So they work in farm and they work with their own children in their own farm. And this particular woman, vice principal of a school, went and deceived this man to hand over the 6 children to her, that she was going to assist them to go to school. And the man was very happy, But when she got those children, the next thing she did was to take them to open market, the market in Ibadan, and share out those children, to people who have stalls, in their own stores and shops. And the incredible thing about it is that she even issued a receipt to collect 1 year in advance for each of the children, each of them, and now took the money and she was enjoying the money. So about 6 months after, this man went to check out his own children in the home of this woman to see how far they are faring, how far they are scoring in their schools. And he couldn't find those children in the woman's house. So where are my children? She started telling lies. The man persisted. I want my children. I want my children. So the next thing that, by the time she reported to the law enforcement authorities, we have to go and investigate and discover that she has shared out those children to stalls in the markets, whereby those people are using them as, as workers in the shop, in their own shops. So that is how horrific it is. So the traffickers don't mind. All they want is to make money at all means, by all means. So we as parents, we as guardians need to watch out. No level of poverty should allow you to allow your children to be enslaved, because it's better to be a poor person than to be a slave. So that is why we're encouraging parents not to allow, or to listen to all manner of stories, because their own children, they should be the one to take care of their children. So once their children becomes an adult, fine, they can now start fending for themselves. But at a tender age, please, parents should take care of their children.
The need for the reduction of child labor cases in Africa deserves urgent attention by all stakeholders. The future of any nation is directly related to the formative years and values of its young people. Join NAPTIP to eradicate child labor today.
Human trafficking is one of the worst crimes on earth. It is a grave violation of your human rights. The victims of human trafficking are majorly women, youths, children and men who may never live to tell the story. These victims could be your wife, daughter, mother, sister, brother, child or relative. No one deserves to be trafficked. NAPTIP has intensified its effort against this heinous crime. But we need your support. We need you to join this fight. Government officials, corporate organizations, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and the organized private sector have enlisted in this fight. What are you waiting for? Join NAPTIP to end this global moral epidemic now.
Report cases of human trafficking to these NAPTIP hotlines: 0703 00 203, 080 02 255 627847. NAPTIP, empowered to protect you.
The Enugu State Zonal Command of NAPTIP recovered a boy of about 2 years old from his buyer in Obosi, Anambra State. We have to break protocol to reveal his face, as we plead with all well-meaning Nigerians and anyone who can identify him to please inform his parents and relations to visit the NAPTIP Zonal Command in Enugu State with relevant documents and medical records for identification and reunion. Please be informed that all documents will be scrutinized and further medical tests carried out to ascertain claims. If anyone has a lead, please call 0708 060 1803, 0708 060 1803. The story of the school administrator shows just how wicked people can be. So brace up and do your best as a parent. With hard work and prayers, things will surely look up. NAPTIP Events is next. Keep watching. Following a previous visit to the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs to seek solutions to the rising cases of trafficking of Nigerian girls and women to Saudi Arabia for exploitative labor, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadanli, and the management team recently visited the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to update the Minister on the issue. Welcoming the NAPTIP delegation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Anyama, spoke on the pervasive nature of human trafficking and the need for a galvanized government front to contain it.
Human trafficking, it's about trafficking beyond the borders of our country, although we do have some cases of internal trafficking, but the large part of it is beyond our borders, and so this concerns the ministry, and we see that this is a real scourge that is all too pervasive now in our society. A lot of work is being done, and I congratulate you, the Director General of NAPTIP, for the excellent work that your outfit is doing in this area. We are in the process of having interministerial meetings, and every effort will be made, no resource will be spared in ensuring that we eradicate this absolute horror from this country, and hopefully from the face of the earth.
The Director General of NAPTIP also shed light on the fact-finding visit to Saudi Arabia.
We came here complaining about the rate at which our young ones were being taken out of the country to Saudi Arabia, and you graciously set up a team comprising of NAPTIP officials and your officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to go to Saudi to investigate firsthand what was going on. There are lots of Nigerian girls that are stranded in Saudi as I speak, under slave-like conditions in people's homes. Most of them are raped, most of them are made to work 18 hours out of 24 hours, and they are not paid what the fraudulent travel agencies promised that they were going to be paid.
A returnee from Saudi Arabia then gave an account of her experience.
It all started through my friend. She contacted me and told me she was in Dubai. So I felt, since I'm jobless in Nigeria, what help can you render to me? She now introduced me to an agent woman. So I got to meet with the agent woman here in Abuja. I was taken for medicals at Dr. Azan Hospital. They promised me that I will go to Saudi to work as a sales agent, and that I will be earning almost like 1,500 riyals, which is equivalent to 150,000 naira Nigerian currency. So when I got to Saudi, it was a different thing entirely. I was taken to a particular home. My passport was collected from me, and I started working as an housemaid. The job was so much. I usually wake up 5 a.m. in the morning and sleep around 10 a.m. at night. I work endlessly from morning to night. I don't go out, I don't do anything. I was really, really depressed. All the thoughts that comes into my mind was just to commit suicide. So I told my boss, I want to start going back to Nigeria. I can no longer do this job. She said, if I want to go back to Nigeria, I'm going to pay her 18,000 riyals, which is equivalent to 1.7 million naira Nigerian currency. If I cannot pay her, I would work for her for 2 years. So I contacted a friend, a journalist friend, who contacted NAPTIP for me. NAPTIP got involved. They contacted the MFA, which is Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So that was how I was brought back to Nigeria. It's not easy at all. I'm talking for the young girls that are in Saudi right now, that are in this kind of position I was in before now. I want our government to come to their aid and assist them. Fine, there might not be jobs in Nigeria, but if you are here in our country, it would have been better. It would have been a different story entirely. We are suffering back in Saudi, Nigerian girls that are there. Some are even being sexually molested. Like me, I went through physical torture because my boss, my madam and my boss and the children, they beat me because I said I wanted to come back to Nigeria, that I was no longer going to work with them again.
Responding to questions from pressmen, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs assured of government's efforts to fight the scourge holistically. The press conference ended with a call for strengthened partnership between all agencies of government. The Director General of NAPTIP, Danjili Okadoni, attended the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime Working Group on Trafficking in Persons 8th session, which held in Vienna, Austria. During the panelists' discussion, she stated the mandate of the agency and the progress made so far in the fight against human trafficking. It was a very interactive session as she answered pertinent questions on the Nigerian experience. In order to intensify the fight against human trafficking, the British government recently handed over an equipped office for the operations of the Joint Border Task Force in Benin, Edo State. Commending the British High Commission for the gesture, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadonli, thanked the British government for its unflinching support for NAPTIP and gave a summary of successful collaborative operations and convictions. She then charged the staff to ensure maintenance of the structure and office equipments. The British High Commissioner, Harriet Thompson, expressed delight at the progress made from the ongoing collaboration and then congratulated the staff of the agency. Speaking on the event, the Joint Border Task Force project lead, Vanessa Fleming, said that for effective fight against human trafficking, operating the JBTF office from Lagos was no longer sufficient, thereby giving rise to the need for an Edo State office. Some members of staff that were outstanding in previous investigations received an award from Alan Pamplin from the Commission. With the establishment of the Joint Border Task Force and the Language Translation Center in Benin, Edo State, the fight against traffickers will yield more results. After the event, the Director General of NAPTIP was joined by the Vice President of Idia Renuzon, Esohe Onyewense, to commission the newly equipped NAPTIP library located at the agency's office in Benin City. Speaking at the event, Dame Julie Okadonli commended the Zonal Commander Nduka Wenwene for the initiative, which is geared towards supporting research and inquiries in the area of human trafficking. In a bid to strengthen the cooperation against the menace of human trafficking and illegal migration, the Africa Frontex Intelligence Community, AFIC, held its regional workshop in Italy with delegates from 11 African countries and their European counterparts. The Zonal Commander of NAPTIP Edo State Zonal Command, Nduka Wenwene, represented NAPTIP at the conference, where he made a presentation and carried out a facility tour of the southern Mediterranean Sea of Sicily, where victims of human trafficking and illegal migrants are received and profiled. Regional and international collaboration assists the agency in curbing the transborder crime of human trafficking. In line with the agency's resolve to combat human trafficking through collaboration with state actors, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadonli, recently paid a visit to the Executive Governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Right Honorable Simon Lalong, in company of the 1990 law class of the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Congratulating the Director General of NAPTIP on her efforts in combating human trafficking, His Excellency Right Honorable Simon Lalong recalled their days in the university.
In the class, we used to call her Margaret Thatcher. So you know Margaret Thatcher. If you are in the Iron Lady, if you are in difficulty for anything, just call her. She will solve that problem for you. So she was our Margaret Thatcher, and I was very happy when I saw her appointment. I told some of our governors, you've appointed the right person. They said, how? I said, we knew her as Margaret Thatcher. She was very tough. And that you made her DG NAPTIP, you will see a Thatcher in NAPTIP. And she's doing that. NAPTIP is like EFCC.
Concluding the visit, he pledged to support the agency in the fight against human trafficking.
This is to inform the general public that Perebi Nicole Otubo, a notorious human trafficker, is wanted by NAPTIP. Anyone with useful information on her whereabouts should contact the agency on this toll-free number 0703 0000 203 or 0800 225 5627 847. You can email info@naptip.gov.ng. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking-free nation. For more enquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotlines on 0703 0000 203 or 0800 2255 627847 or email info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria and watch our videos on YouTube.
From a historical viewpoint, there are concrete examples of countries that have just somehow managed to virtually eliminate widespread child labor in the course of just a century. The United Kingdom is a case in point. Please resolve today not to give up your child to anyone. If they offer to help, they can do so with your child under your care. We have come to the end of today's episode. Till I come your way, same time next week, be your brother's keeper and support NAPTIP by reporting suspected cases of human trafficking, child abuse, and all forms of violence against persons. I am Emanuela Okeke, and I must thank you for watching.